Hello, wonderful people. How are you? Well, I'm going to tell you something today about, those lines in the sky and about a coincidence that happened that isn't a coincidence. So I'll tell you all about it on the other side. Please click like, please subscribe to this channel if you want to help the channel grow. It would be lovely to be able to grow and get this message out to more people. I'd appreciate it. So, let me tell you about something that happened to me, and it's happened oodles of times. So, we here in Spain have had a reprieve, and we haven't had lines in the sky for like a month, all through the Christmas time. I think I mentioned it, and I said, well, maybe, it's leading up to them starting again. They haven't, here in this zone, they haven't really started. Okay, they haven't. But what happened was this. About 3 weeks in, I said to Cynthia, it's incredible, that we've had clear skies for 3 weeks. They've left us alone for 3 weeks. And she said, yeah, really, I've noticed that too. The very next day, the skies were filled. The very next day. Okay? And I thought, this has happened to me before. I was like, said nothing. And then I utter the words, they've left us alone, and suddenly they appear. They're bastards. Well, so I noticed that in Peaceful Rebellion, and by the way, if you want to join Peaceful Rebellion, which is a Telegram group where beautiful people get together and help one another and share stories, just look, the link's in the information, but you've got to be a nice person to join. So, in Peaceful Rebellion, I'm reading, and somebody said, well, we haven't had any of the lines in the sky for ages. Oh, wait a minute. They've just started. And my spidey senses were going, hang on a minute, I've seen this shit before. I've seen that happen with me. And then somebody else commented and said, I said exactly the same thing yesterday. There was nothing for ages, and now they've started. So I was thinking, hang on a minute. I think there's something to this. I was chatting with the emissaries about it, and I said, are we, just by actually mentioning them, are we making them happen? And they said yes. But I said, I'm only one person. I can make that happen. And they said, no. Don't think that you're the only person who's saying that. And it's true, we're on Twitter. Now, on my feed, most of the people that I see are Spanish, and they're just endless photos of them. People complaining, endless, everybody. I mean, it's a real big deal now. And I've noticed, hey, have you noticed that the certain states are banning them? And like there's an official banning them, but they weren't real. It was a conspiracy theory, and yet they're starting to be banned. Either they're real or they're not real. You can't ban a conspiracy theory like it's because it's not real. So, anyway, the emissary said, when you're saying it and you're thinking it, so are many, many other people. And what they explained was this. This is how it works, all right? Take it or leave it, but this is how they explained it. So, and I know it affects me. So when I'm seeing a clear sky, it's like, I don't want to jinx it. Have you heard that? I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to jinx it. Okay? So I keep it in. And I think lots of people have the same thing, which I'm not going to say anything. It's beautiful. Let's just enjoy it. Beautiful. But after a certain time, it starts becoming like, wow, this is going on a long time. And I feel that I've got to mention it. And every time that I mention it, then suddenly they appear. And what they said was that many people are doing the same. And they said the act, all of that energy builds up. That like, ooh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to jinx it. And then we utter the words. And as we utter the words, we expel a load of energy. And everybody does it. And boom, they come back. Okay? So that's their kind of take on what happens. I mean, it's, they say there's no such thing as a coincidence. And it seems very coincidental that this happens, and other people are mentioning it too. So what the emissaries give me some advice, and I'll share the same advice with you. What they said was this. rather than talk about them, yeah, they said every time that you see a blue sky, give thanks for the blue sky. Thank you for the blue sky. Okay, that makes sense. I do that anyway. Thank you for the blue sky. But they said when you see the trails, still give thanks for the blue sky. Okay, now what I've done for a long time is I see them and I give thanks for the trails. And I say, thank you for the trails for letting us know what kind of world we live in and understanding that. What the emissary said is, don't do that. Give thanks for the blue sky behind them. Because that, when we expel that energy, if we give thanks, rather than mentioning and jinxing it, just mention the blue sky. Thanks for the blue sky. I'm going to give it a go. Now, the problem is, not everybody hears this message. And so lots of people will be jinxing it, as I've done for the last 20 years. I mean, they've been doing it for about 35 years, 35 years they've been doing this. And we're still here. We're not dead, are we? So that's good news, isn't it? That's a good thing. It certainly is. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.